Today is the first big UFO hearing on Capitol Hill in almost a year. And my goal is really to just get inside. I want to be in the room when these firsthand witnesses are testifying. I want to try to talk to some of the members of Congress who are going to be questioning them. But first, I want to talk to the people who have been waiting in line to get into this hearing for hours. Are you the first person in line?
Yes, I am.
So when did you get here?
Almost 8 o'clock yesterday night.
12 hours you've been waiting in this line?
Yeah, I was reevaluating my life choices at one point because I was here for 2 hours before someone showed up.
We're at Citizens for Disclosure. I am. He's 13. He got to miss school today.
Why was it important for you to bring your 13-year-old son here?
So I do past life regressions as a hypnotherapist, and I communicate with extradimensional beings on a regular basis. I want to bring my child here so he can have that vast understanding, because that's going to trickle back into the skull system when he shares it with his peers.
Why is it so important to you to get into this hearing?
It's a good question. It's just something that attracts me to it. I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
What are you hoping to hear today?
Well, I have a really good answer.
Okay.
That we have the bodies, and then here they are, here are the bodies, here are the... And you know, it's the technology that they have. Obviously, these ships, whatever they are not filling up their gas tank to get here, right? So they have a type of propulsion that could really benefit the Earth. And I think the oil companies, people in control of that kind of monopoly, don't want that to come out.
I'm really excited just to see the openness and willingness of people that are considered whistleblowers to communicate that and know that they are more safe now because more people are listening. Because you've got people that hear the stories from their neighbor, but when it's actually being spoken about in a governmental setting.
In the halls of Congress, in an official hearing.
Okay,
yeah.
You can say that I'm kind of wacky, but they're talking about it at a congressional hearing.
Right.
It puts more weight behind the information.
This is a major, major milestone for human civilization, don't you think? We realize we're not alone in the universe.
Oh, it is. I mean, from a journalist's perspective, it would be the biggest story of our life, not just my lifetime, but like humanity's.
That's why
lifetime.
These meetings matter, these congressional hearings, because it moves the needle forward to say, well, there is something going on here. We need to work for transparency. We just need the really key witnesses to come forward, be subpoenaed, be questioned by the public. What's going on? Why are you covering this up? And what's the real secret? Don't you think there's something really exciting going on?
I have a whole YouTube channel devoted to this.
Well,
so,
there you
yeah,
go.
I give a shit.
Well, there you go. Have you ever seen anything?
No, but I'd love to.
Oh, you know who you should talk to?
Who should I talk to?
Right here online, Chris Bledsoe. Let me introduce you to Chris.
Okay.
Because that guy sees it all the time.
I want to go see some things.
Yes.
Hi.
Show here.
He says you can show me something.
Well, I think we can try.
We actually saw some orbs last night over the Capitol.
You guys saw orbs over the Capitol last night?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, right here.
He's going to show
What?
you.
That's right.
He's going to show you.
That's right.
We asked it to come, and it did, I think, about 7 or 8 figure eights right over the
You asked it to come.
Well, we pray. We pray.
He does that all the time. This
Right,
is his job.
right.
Chris is the leading observational scientist in terms of seeing these orbs.
Yes.
He's seeing this on every other day type basis.
So how does it work? How do you call him?
through prayer. Just being humble and asking. People say you can summon these things. We have no power over that. You can't summon anything, but if you humble yourself and ask in prayer, it'll come.
So can you show me some of these pictures?
Okay, so let's go and take me there. There's the Capitol. You see that flying out?
So that dot? Mm-hmm. How do you know it's an orb and not like something else?
Well, we've seen them a lot. It's very respectful in the way it engages.
It's respectful.
Well, so what happens is, sometimes it starts out very light and slight, but then when people get more engaged and excited and don't seem nervous, they'll be large, they'll change colors.
And you guys saw this just like right over
Last
night,
the
yes.
Capitol Dome last night.
Yeah.
So the doors are open, but since I have not been waiting in line overnight for 12 hours, I'm going to try to get into this hearing as a guest of Congressman Eric Burlison. He is one of the members of the Oversight Committee and on this UFO task force that is hosting the hearing today. So I'm going to walk to his office right now. Hey, Nate.
Good to see you. Happy hearing day.
Are we going to get in no problem?
I think so.
Should we be going with this first batch, or can we wait? Go with the first batch? Okay. So we weren't allowed to film how we got in, but I got in. And look who else got in. You made it.
I did, yeah.
What is it now, like 14 hours that you've been waiting?
I have no idea what time it is. Yeah, almost 14 hours.
So one of the big people that's here today is David Grusch, who is the former U.S. intelligence officer who testified in that blockbuster UFO hearing back in 2023.
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
After that hearing, Congressman Burlison hired him as a member of his staff, and Grusch is now, I can see him inside the hearing room, and he has been helping Burlison come up with his questions, but he also helped Burlison figure out who the witnesses were going to be today. All right, let's go in.
Good morning and welcome to the hearing regarding UAP disclosures.
My name is Jeffrey Nuccetelli. I'm a former military police officer with 16 years of active duty service in the U.S. Air Force.
My name is Alexandro Wiggins. I'm an active duty U.S. Navy Operations Specialist, Senior Chief Petty Officer.
My name is Dylan Borland, a former 1N1 Geospatial Intelligence Specialist for the United States Air Force.
I'm a Senior Policy Counsel at the Project on Government Oversight.
I'm George Knapp, Chief Investigative Reporter at KLES TV in Las Vegas.
I'm here today because the American people have both the right and the responsibility to know the truth about unidentified aerial phenomenon. Between 2003 and 2005, 5 UAP incidents occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base. The incursions began when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. Later that night, while I was on duty, chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here." When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed. The witnesses to this event were threatened and intimidated afterward. And then I had my own encounter. I was off duty, sitting in my backyard with 2 other police officers when we noticed what first appeared to be a satellite in orbit. But it wasn't acting like a satellite. The light was strange, it was pulsing, and then it started to maneuver. At times it would vanish from view and reappear in a different location in the sky, and eventually it reappeared 200 feet over my house. It was a 30-foot diameter sphere of light. My friends and I watched it for a moment, and then it gently accelerated and traveled up and disappeared into the stars. We stand at a pivotal moment in history. The question is no longer whether these events are real, but whether we have the courage to face them.
When you first heard and were having to report on these incidents that were being witnessed by other individuals, did you believe them?
Yeah, these are people I've worked with for years, deployed with. I was in some of the weddings. These are people that I worked with every day of my life. Usually when the events were occurring, we were all together. There'd be 40, 60, 100 people on duty during these encounters.
Really?
Yeah.
All seeing it at the same time?
Yes. For that particular launch, we had 500 Air Force police officers guarding the launch. 500 people. It was that critical.
Wow.
What do you and your friends think about it today? You all have talked about it. Yeah. I mean, so what do you think about your experience as a collective group?
I mean, we've been talking about this for 20 years. We don't know what we saw. What we saw changed our lives. and the way we think about everything. It was incredibly profound. The object I saw, I don't even know if it was an object. It was a light. It was an orb. It didn't look like a craft, but it did look solid. We noticed the object, and this was a pattern across all the encounters. Someone would see a light. They would pay attention to the light. And then the object responds. It performs for you. And then they come down and they investigate you. So it's almost like they're curious. So that's the thing we primarily talk about. Why did it come after we noticed it? Maybe it noticed us after we noticed it.
From 2011 to 2013, I was stationed at Langley Air Force Base, Virginia, conducting 24-hour operations via manned and unmanned aerial vehicles for Special Operations Forces in the global war on terror. During the summer of 2012, I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base. The craft interfered with my telephone, did not have any sound, and the material it was made of appeared fluid or dynamic. I was under this triangular craft for a few minutes, and then it rapidly ascended to commercial jet level in seconds, displaying zero kinetic disturbance, sound, or wind displacement. Some years after that experience, I was further exposed to classified information from the UAP Legacy Crash Retrieval Program through a sensitive position I held within a special access program. Because of my direct knowledge of the reality of certain legacy UAP programs, my professional career was deliberately obstructed. As I sit before you today, I and many other whistleblowers have no job prospects, no foreseeable professional future, and a nation every single one of us came forward to defend.
Are you scared for your safety?
That's a complicated question. So being here today, if I say the wrong word, technically I can be charged with espionage. Espionage is a death penalty. Whistleblowers have faced it. John Kiriakou, for example. I am not scared for my physical safety in the sense of an agency or company coming to kill me, but I have no job. My career has been tarnished. I'm unemployed, living off of unemployment for the next 3-4 weeks until that's gone.
When you first experienced what you were looking at, what did you do next? Like, what was your next step after it had passed and you were done?
I actually kind of laughed to myself and said, okay, so this exists as well. Worked in enough programs, been exposed to enough that I was like, okay, so this is a real thing.
On the evening of February 15th, 2023, off the coast of Southern California, I was serving on board USS Jackson. A self-luminous, tic-tac-shaped object emerged from the ocean before linking up with 3 other similar objects. The 4 then disappeared simultaneously with a high synchronized, near instantaneous acceleration. I observed no sonic boom and no conventional propulsion signatures.
I want to commend you. You're the first witness to come forward that is currently serving, and it's recognized. And so I thank you. And your testimony is unbelievable.
When you first saw what you were looking at, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, I think everything that I was told and taught as a kid and as growing adult no longer was applicable. If I'm able to see something that I thought defies gravity in such a way, then what else could be possible?
Growing up, I really never believed in UFOs or any of this stuff. I always thought it was a little kooky and whatnot, but after hearing your testimony from honorable service members, I gotta admit, I've become a believer.
It's politically convenient for the government if you all weren't military folks in suits. It would be much better if you pulled up in Winnebagos and were wearing hats. I don't really know what is true. I don't know on this subject. But I do know when we're being lied to. And we are definitely being lied to.
The government has something, and they need to turn it over to us. We pay their dadgum salary, you pay our salary, and you ought to get more out of us than you do. And that's what disgusts me about this whole thing. I think they're just trying to run the clock out on us, really. They'll poke us a little, and they'll make jokes to us and try to pull us off the target, but I think we know where we're at. And that's why they're firing at us, because we are over the target.
Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet. But I'm open to that. And I think that it's our responsibility, especially when we're seeing that we have a government that is actively blocking information from us. And I've had it. Enough is enough. I want to cue up a video that I've been given. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile.
That's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So
flies like that?
Again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is, why are we being blocked from this information?
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out.
Mr. Borland?
Yes.
There was an incident in October of 1982 over at ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart, they fuse back together, they'd appear and disappear, and right at the end of this 4-hour period, the launch control codes for the ICBMs lit up. Something entered the correct codes. The missiles were fired up and ready to launch, and they could not shut it down. The Russian officers were panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back to normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing. I mean, we were a couple of seconds away from World War III starting, and the UFOs were responsible for it.
How did you manage to obtain the classified Russian UAP documents, and how did you get them back in the United States?
Well, I met this Russian physicist who was in the United States lecturing.
And I want to clarify that. I can't even take a thing of honey home on my airplane when I fly back to Tennessee.
Yeah,
so
I did something pretty dumb.
And I'm bitter about it, but go ahead.
I did something kind of dumb. I met with these officials who, during that time period, glasnost, perestroika, the Russians were trying to open up to the world, and I saw it as a window of opportunity, and it was. And we were able to talk these folks into providing us information that otherwise we would never have seen. Some of that was classified. I found out that they only stamped the top pages of these documents that were classified, so I just removed them. I removed those pages, and I carried them out. And if they'd caught me, I'd be in a gulag still.
Yeah.
This is a huge file. How in the world did you smuggle this out of Russia?
Carefully.
In your socks?
Mr. Knapp, how do we know that the files that you obtained from the former Soviet government are not BS and just given to you as a disinformation campaign against the U.S. government?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I shared some of them with the Senate Intelligence Committee when I first got back because that was requested by the Russians who shared some of that information with me. Secondly, I gave all of that material to the DIA. They said they were real. The other person who said they were real is David Grusch.
Are any of you willing to name specific gatekeepers within the root cell of the UAP-SAP Federation?
You mean specific people and contractors that have dealt with us and kept the secret?
Specific individuals.
Well, one of them was named Dr. James Ryder at Lockheed. But, again, to emphasize, I don't fault these contractors for doing what they were asked to do by our government. They're supposed to lie if people ask about it. And the intelligence agencies who gave this stuff to them, CIA, I think primarily, told them to keep it quiet. And they've done that. And I suspect that they'd like an off-ramp. I have a name for you.
Go ahead.
Glenn Gaffney, CIA.
Glenn Gaffney, CIA.
Dylan, knowing you testified to AARO, are they obfuscating when they claim to have discovered no evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology, and are they lying to the American public?
it's a manipulation of the public perception. The statement, scientific evidence of extraterrestrials, is a true statement. It is not the truth about what is happening and what we have. Scientific evidence requires a scientific control. Extraterrestrial is an entity on another planet. The only way to scientifically prove extraterrestrial is we have to go to that planet, acquire technology, bring it back, and compare it to what we have here.
So you're saying they won't come forward unless they confirm that unless they go to the planet and confirm where its origin is.
That would be scientific evidence, yes. And by that statement, AARO found no scientific evidence of extraterrestrials is basically, I don't want to call it a psyop, but a misrepresentation, because we do have things. But making that statement is not technically a lie. It's a misrepresentation of the full truth.
It's splitting hairs. No proof that they're extraterrestrials. What would that proof look like? A piece of kryptonite? I can't imagine that any whistleblower or witness will ever go to AARO again because of what happened under the first director, who's now long gone, but still seems to act as the spokesperson for that organization.
And I would say, Madam Chair, maybe at some point we need to really dig deep into AARO, and I would encourage us.
Oh, I'd be happy to send maybe a subpoena to Mr. Kilpatrick.
There you go.
One of the big questions, I think, for many of us is why do you believe that the federal government refuses to be transparent about this issue?
I think there's probably multiple reasons. At the start, when these things first started invading our skies in large numbers, we were scared. It was right after World War II, and we didn't know what they were, and they didn't want to panic the public, and that was probably a good call. Over time, I think the lying sort of became institutionalized, you know. What was told to me by an investigator from Congress, when this comes out, people are going to go to prison. And he meant people who were basically misusing legitimate national security funds, tens of billions of dollars, in order to keep this cover-up going. I also believe there's a legitimate reason for the cover-up in that there is undeniable connection of national security involved in this technology. If we are racing for it to master that technology against the Russians and the Chinese, which is what I have been told by Senator Reid and many others, then it is a race that's critical to our survival.
In your view, having investigated this issue for so many years, what is the long game with respect to disclosure of this information to the public? Because with the advent of essentially a video camera and a high megapixel phone in everybody's pocket, at some point this information is going to be impossible to withhold from the public.
Well, the secret's out. I mean, how many videos have there been already? You know, videos that are leaked from within the military and intelligence agencies and contractors and sensor platforms. It's out there. But they have the high ground. The people that don't want us to take it seriously dismiss it, discredit the witnesses, come up with a cover story. I mean, it's been out there a long time. The public senses that it's real, and the people in authority dismiss them. It's a game that's been going on a long time, and I don't think they're ever going to release it. I think that there's an attitude among the people that have been involved in this for a long time that the public doesn't deserve to know, and that the public probably can't handle it, but they can.
I hope that you all see that we're committed to this, and we're going to be scrappy about it. If the American people want to see answers, we need to action. We've had the hearings. It's time to take action. It's time that we pass Tim Burchett's Whistleblower Act. It's time that we pass the UAP Disclosure Act. And I think that we've had a lot of talk about this. It's time for action.
Thank you, Burlison.
So what'd you think?
A lot happened in that hearing.
There's Burlison. I'm going to go see if I can get him. Okay. Hi there.
Hey, what'd you
How
think?
You doing?
Good.
You mind if we just ask you a quick
Oh,
question?
yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, Congressman, how do you think the hearing went?
I think it went really well.
That video, you told me last night that you thought it was going to melt Washington. That was quite some footage.
Yeah, and I'm prepared for that to be, maybe they're going to come out and say, no, that was something very prosaic. It's not. But at the end of the day, why is that being held? Why was that video released, not released? And so I want to know. And I feel like the reason why I released it is because I'm taking the posture that rather than sit on something like that and try to go through all the work and validate it and do the forensics on that, which I don't have the capabilities to do, I'm going to trust the American people. And I'm not. What I'm saying is, I can't speak for the validity of it. Maybe it was made on AI. I have no idea. but I'm not going to hide things anymore. And I think that it's time that we set that posture that we're just not going to be the ones that are gatekeeping any information.
At the end of the hearing, you said, we've had the hearings, we've talked the talk, now it's time for action. Are you hopeful that this hearing did enough, move the needle enough to really get some of the action that you're talking about?
I hope so, but what's going to have to move the needle is the people that are watching, the people that care about this. Until they call their congressman, call their senator, and reach out to the president and make it clear that this is a priority, they're not going to make it a priority, because most of this town is focused on raising money and the things that are involved in raising money. This is a topic that generally distracts from the normal political, agenda. So you're going to have to get the public to force their member to care about this and actually get on board and help us achieve passing the Witness Protection Act and passing the UAP Disclosure Act.
How credible did you find the witnesses, those 3 service members in particular?
Unbelievable. Unbelievably credible. I mean, and we really have had stellar witnesses from the first hearing with David Grusch, David Fravor, Admiral Gallaudet, some really amazing witnesses that, in my opinion, none of them were lying. They took an oath. They swore an oath. None of them were lying. Thank you. That was great.
So, what did you think of George Knapp here naming some names today?
I've got some names I want to go over with you. I've got some names I want to go over with you. People that we're looking at potentially subpoena.
Or I will help add some names to that list.
So are you serious about subpoenaing names? Like Luna said that
That's what I was requesting.
Yeah.
That's what I look at. Again, I think we've had enough talk. It's time to bring the people in. It's time to shake things up, and otherwise nothing's going to break loose. It's just going to continue to be the status quo.
Congressman, thank you so much, and thank you so much for helping me get in here. I really appreciate it. So what do I think? I think those witnesses were really brave. I think they were really credible. I think that video that Burlison showed was just, I'm still processing it. And I think that this hearing isn't going to get nearly as much attention as it should. And that is exactly what I'm trying to change. But I need your support. So please subscribe and maybe share this video with people who don't fully understand why what happened here today is so important.